This episode of Logan Chops Reviews is sponsored in part by Ion Games. It's in our nature. The Giveaway Geek. Hey Choppers, Logan here, and today I got for you a twofer. I've got a review and gameplay for Intelle by Heaton Games. It was kickstarted last year, and it's a great game. You play a hacker, or you play a system operator for a corporation that's trying to stop a hacker from breaking into their system and taking control of it. It's for 2 players, and it plays in about 15 minutes, and it's pretty fun. So we got a review for that, but also, I was like, wait, there's more. I also have a preview for the solo expansion that's coming to Kickstarter on November 12th called Firewall. It's a solo expansion, for those people that just like to play games by themselves, can't find another player. You got the base game, you get the solo expansion, it's all good. We're going to go ahead and take a look at these pieces for this too, and the gameplay for this after we cover the review and the gameplay for Intelle. So go ahead and make sure you stay tuned. Don't just stop after I dump this. Make sure you stay tuned for this, and then check out the Kickstarter. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know we usually do a little explanation of the pieces of the game before we do a playthrough or a review, but there's not that much to this game, to Intelle, so I figured that I'll just do it as part of the gameplay. And then we'll get to I'll show you a little bit of the gameplay of the base game, and then we'll get to the expansion, the solo expansion afterwards. So these 7 tiles right here, these are the system tiles, and at the beginning of the game they're shuffled up face down, and then placed out in any order onto the board in this honeycomb shape here. And the way these work is they have a different outline color. As you can see, this one is blue, that one's purple, orange, yellow, green. Oh, sorry, this is red, this one's orange, and gray. And then they got these 7 spaces inside that correspond to the different colors. You see the green one there corresponds to the green symbol there of the login screen. And so the system tiles with their 7 spaces are where you're going to be placing your code blocks, which there are white code blocks and black code blocks. And then we also have these little meeples right here that whenever you take control of one of these system tiles, you will place your little meeple onto one of the corner edge spots of the symbols to show that you control that system tile. And the way you control a system tile is by getting 3 of your code blocks onto the spaces of the tile in a certain manner. So you can either have them, I'm just going to use the center one as an example, have them in a triangle this way. As soon as you place the last one in the triangle, you will place your meeple right there to show that you control that system tile. You can have them in a triangle as so, if you have them that way. So that's 2 ways in a triangle. Or you can have them in a straight line on the system tile. Of course, this 1, 2, 3 right here, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, like that. Any one of those combinations like that will earn you control of a system tile. And once you have those, no matter how many other code blocks are placed on that tile, nothing takes away the control of that system tile. That is always counted as yours. And the way you win the game, well, there's 2 different variations of the way you can win. You can win by gaining control of 3 adjacent tiles. Let's say like that. They're adjacent because their edges touch. Or if you're using the second variation, by controlling 4 adjacent tiles, like that, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are any combination of adjacent. So if you have them as like this in a row, that counts that way. If they're along the edge like this, if you control 3 like that, it'll win. 3 like 3 like this, straight through. Any combination of that, either 3 or 4, if you're playing with that variation, if you want a little bit of a longer, tougher game, you will win. And this is for the base game only, the 3 adjacent tiles, or 4 adjacents if you're using the variant. It's different for the solo expansion, which we'll get to in a little bit. So at the beginning of the game, after laying out your 7 tiles, you have to choose who is going to be Black Hat, the hacker, and who is going to be White Hat, who is the person that works for the corporation. It's basically internet security, trying to keep out the hacker for the corporation that Black Hat is trying to hack. So first starting out, once you choose who is Black Hat and who is White Hat, Black Hat will get to go first. And they will place one of their code blocks onto any of the system tiles except for the center one. So let's say I'm going first here. I'm going to place mine onto the bluish purple tile, right? Or sorry, it's the blue tile right here. I'm going to place it onto the blue tile, but I'm going to place it into the green open space right there. And now that signifies that the next player will have to place their code block. The white player will have to place the code block onto the green tile. Since that's the one that I placed my space in the green space there, they have to place theirs somewhere onto this green tile. So in any of the open spaces, let's say that the White Hat player places it into the gray space right there. Then play will come back to me, and I will have to place my code block onto the gray system tile, which is over here, and I can place it in any one of the 7 spaces that's there that's available. Let's say I'm actually glad it's a gray one for me over here, because this will actually give me adjacent tiles to try to control. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in the purple one right here. So now the White Hat player would come back over and they would have to place theirs on the purple tile. And in anywhere they want to go, let's say, okay, they go on orange. And play continues back and forth in this manner, placing your code blocks until someone like gains control. Let's say I get 3 right there. I would put my meeple and boom, gain control of that tile. Play goes back and forth, back and forth. So essentially, you're playing a variation of kind of like tic-tac-toe, only with the spaces and filling them in. So that's the base game. It's really fun. Let's go ahead and show you how the solo expansion works. Okay, for the Firewall solo expansion, you can see I've gone ahead and I've reset the board and moved all the blocks off of it and the meeples. So you set up starting off exactly the same. You shuffle up and set your 7 system tiles down, and you will be taking control of the Black Hat hacker. That's who you're playing, hacking into the corporation system. The White Hat will be controlled by an AI. This is the mainframe computer that is going to stop you from hacking in. And the expansion comes with another meeple for the Black Hat player, because the purpose of this game is to take control, in the solo expansion, is to take control of any 5 system tiles. They do not have to be adjacent, they just have to be any 5 of these system tiles you have to have control of, and then you win the game. You also have these yellow squares, these yellow blocks right here. These will be representing firewalls that the mainframe is putting up to block you from gaining control of the tiles. You get this 28 card deck right here, and these cards, I'll show you the bottom one right here. These cards have the 7 codes on them. Now, they're used 2 different ways. There's one way they're used during the setup, and then there's one way they're used during the game. So during the setup, what we're going to do is we're going to turn over the top 4 cards. And when we do that, as we're turning them over, we're going to take into account the big colored square right here. That is going to represent the system tile. And then the top one over here on the card will represent where we will be placing on that tile, in that spot, where we will be placing the firewall token. So you can see this one, it will say the orange system tile, which is right here, and we'll be placing the firewall on the red square, or red space right there. So we'll be placing it right there in the middle of that system tile. And then we would draw the next one, and we're going to do this 4 times, because we're going to place 4 firewalls during the game. Now, when the firewalls are placed, let's just put some around here, like this. If I am instructed or I am directed to go to a tile that has a firewall on it, for my turn, I can't just place it in any space I want to. I have to replace a firewall with my token. And that is my complete turn. And then it will pass back to the AI, which is controlled by these cards, as I will show you in a minute. Now, if there are multiple firewalls on the system tile, I can choose which one to do as my turn. Let's say, okay, this one, let's say I strategically want the mainframe to go over to the purple tile next turn to place their block over there. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this mainframe token right there, or I'm sorry, the firewall token with my code block right there. And then the next turn, the mainframe will have to place on the purple code tile right there. So let's move these back. Let's move this back like this. The other way these cards are used is during the game as we're playing, and I'll show you, is let's say I place my token here on the green tile in the orange square. During the AI's turn, whenever they flip the card over, they don't do like in the setup where they're placing the firewall tokens, go, okay, this card, this tile, this space. They are going to still go to the tile that I signified by placing my block right here. So placing the orange one there will mean they have to go to the orange tile right here. And then they would look at the big square right here. It just happens to be orange right now. But they look at the big square and they go, okay, I have to put my code block into that spot on the one that I signified by my code block. So they would have to place it in the orange spot there. Now, if there is another square already in there, let's say I had already placed one from a turn before in that square, they will go over to the list over here on the right, and they will try to place it in that next spot there, which would be the red one. And if that one's occupied, then they continue down the list all the way until they get to the bottom. And if they can't place one, if all these spots are not available, they will place it on another system tile that will be advantageous to the mainframe, meaning that they will gain control of that system tile. So you're going to look at all the tiles, and you have to place it in one of those that will give them a win. So let's go ahead and shuffle this deck up real quick, and I'll show you how to play. Get these firewalls placed. All right, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle a little bit. There we go. Stick the mainframe deck down here. Okay, we'll turn over the top one. Okay, so for setup, it's going to go into the green system tile in the blue space. So that's the first firewall. Second firewall will go onto the green one and the orange space right there. Third firewall is going to go into the purple system tile right here into the gray space. And then the last one, the fourth one right here, will go onto the red system tile, which is over here, into the purple space. So now I've placed all four of mine. And then we're ready, since it's all set up, we're ready to play. Now, unlike the base game, I can start on any system tile that does not have a firewall on it as the black hat player going first. So if these firewalls were over here, I could even start on the center tile if I wanted to, unlike the base game. So let's see, where will I place mine first? Let's see, I got firewalls on those three. So let's go ahead and I'll start off on the blue tile over here. I'm gonna put it into the red right there, the red spot on the blue tile. So now it's the mainframe's turn over thing. So we have to go to the red tile, which is over here, because I placed my code block in the red space. So they have to place their code block on the red tile in the red space, since that's the first one right there. They place it there. And just a note, these firewall tokens do count towards the locking down the system tile for control of it. So he's already got two. Mainframe's already got two right here. They get one in the green spot, they can control that whole red system tile right there. So since they place theirs in that red system tile, it passes back over to me. So I get to place mine anywhere on the red tile. I'm going to, well, I was going to say I'm going to block it here, but I can't. Since it has a firewall token on there, I have to take my turn. I have to remove that firewall token for my turn. But at least it still blocked them. So now, passes back to the mainframe's turn. They will place theirs on the purple tile somewhere, since I placed my code block there. And there on the purple square, they will go onto the gray space on the purple code tile. So let's go ahead and do that there. Oh, we can't because we have a firewall right there. So we will go to the next one right here, which is the yellow space. They will place theirs on the yellow space. And then play passes back over to me. I will place mine. I have to place it on the yellow tile. Yellow tile is free of firewall, so I can place it anywhere I'd like on the yellow tile. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to place it, let's place it on the orange right here. Get that middle spot going on. So passes back over to mainframe for, we'll just say one last time right here. Go ahead and flip it over. Mainframe has to go to the orange tile right here with their square, and they will be placing it in the purple space right there. And you continue back and forth in this fashion until either the mainframe locks you out, the mainframe controls all the tiles, or you are actually able to control 5 system tiles, and then you win the game. So let's go ahead and get to the review. So Intelle is a great game. It's pretty fun. Me and Gothy enjoy it and playing back and forth. You know, she usually wins. She wasn't with me today because sometimes I gotta fly solo, which is what that solo expansion is all about. It adds a fun AI to the game, which is the mainframe AI, artificial intelligence, which is pretty appropriate for this game, considering it's all about computer hacking. So it adds a great option just to be able to play by yourself if you don't have anybody else to play with you, or if you prefer just to play games by yourself. So go ahead and check it out. Like I said at the beginning, it's on Kickstarter on November 12th. I think I might have said January earlier, but I'm not too sure. But November 12th, make sure you check it out and stay tuned to Logan Chop's Reviews for more great previews. We'll put a link to the Kickstarter in the description as always, and I'll see you next time. Happy gaming.